Yo, 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 good people. Welcome to the Herbman Show.
Yo, 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 good people. It's your homie Herbman. Here you back upside the head with another hot banger boogie. Hey, look, you guys, I am your resident herbalist. I am your homie Herbman. So go tell somebody to go tell somebody your homie Herbman is on. If you are new to the program, welcome. Go ahead and hit that logo right at the bottom of your screen and hit that notification bell so that you never miss what we bring to the world. All right. Now, guys, did you know that since June of 2020, 40% of the U.S. adults are struggling more with mental health and substance abuse? In this video, we're going to talk about how to balance your life. All right. So with that being said, we understand that balance and holism, if we've never heard of that, is paramount to our health. Okay. I'll repeat that. Balance or holism is paramount for our health. Okay, and there are various reasons why, and we'll get into that in this particular video. But I also just want to talk to you guys per se, just, you know, person to person. All right, we all struggle with stress, and we all deal with stress. Again, in previous videos, I've told you, no matter if you are the wealthy or the rich, you're still under stress to maintain your riches and your wealth. And if you don't have riches, if you don't have wealth, and you're just out here looking for a job every day, you're out here just struggling, trying to make ends meet, that's going to apply its own amount of pressure and stress on the individual. So no matter which spectrum, which end of the spectrum you're on, you guys, we're all dealing with the same stuff here, and we're all in this together. One thing I do want to encourage you guys to understand is that, you know, we are all in this together when we're talking about the physicality of what's going on and how it breaks down the human anatomy. Okay, it doesn't matter how rich or how poor you are, these things are going to wreak havoc on your physical body and on your mental state, period. Okay, and so that's what this video is about: understanding, having some compassion, and understanding the state that we're all in. Okay, we're all in this state, and some have been battling with these issues more than others. Okay, balance is key. So let's say that we're all just focusing on our physical health, focusing on how we can eat better and just exercise, right? You got to understand that even a decision like eating better and exercising has to come from a positive and good sound mind, good sound judgment that you're making per se pertaining to your physical body. You know, that's a good sound judgment to implement a great diet and some exercise. That's great, but don't be misled that it has to start with a mental concept first, before the body could find and get any residual from that good judgment. At first you have to decide that that's what you're going to do. Okay, now that particular judgment and that sound mind came from somewhere else. Now that's what we call the spirit realm, right? If something has to enter into your mind to want to do this thing, and then your mind decides on it, and then your body follows. Okay, so now your concepts mentally, they come from the depthness of what we call the spirit. Okay, so if you don't have good spirit foundation, then you're probably feeding yourself bad judgments and bad soundness, okay, which then is leading your body into bad behaviors, which is now causing bad physical condition or bad outputs. Whether it be bad energy outputs, bad mood outputs, bad work-life balance, bad choice-making decisions, it all is coming from that depthness, right? So that's why holism and that's why balance is so important. Because a lot of times here, especially in America, on this particular plane, all we're actually really dealing with is the physicality of our experience here on this planet Earth. all we're actually doing is just fixating on the physicality. All right. And even so far of going into our religious sectors, we still utilize that religious sector to really bring some kind of physical result. It's almost like, you know, you're playing the lottery. You're asking Santa for a present, a physical, tangible thing that you can do. You know, you can say, hey, I prayed for this, I asked for this, and I got it here. And it's more about having something come from an imaginary world, right, or a unseen world to a more tangible, to a more physical, you know, more manifested world. And so basically you're trying to derive something from something unseen to something seen. Okay. But either way, it's really all about your internal education, the knowledge of your internal fortitude, where all of this stuff is deriving from. So if you're at home watching this video and you're dealing with financial issues, sometimes you may want to start going back into the archives and start asking yourself, why are you in this situation from the beginning, right? And then you can start dealing with those reasons. See, a lot of times we don't deal with our issues. We don't deal with we don't want to go through the processes of feeling angry or feeling sad or feeling bad about something. We don't want to go through those processes. And so what we do is we then start to rely on things to keep us away from feeling those emotions, right? So, you know, you don't want to be mad, so you start, you know, smoking weed. You want to be mad, so you go start drinking you some liquor. I don't know. You don't want to think about something. You don't want to have this thought process, so you start to, you know, go out and do substance abuse of any kind. Okay, and this is how you're not wanting to deal with your situations. Okay, you don't want to deal with them. But what happened is that you don't really, for the most of us, we all want to do better. We all want to be better versions of ourselves. Okay. We all want to be the best that we can possibly be. But here is where sometimes the separation or the dissension happens between the mind, the body, and the soul. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about. So we understand that balance, and what we're talking about is balance and health, but we understand the physical, the mental and emotional, and the spiritual planes. I'm pretty sure you guys have all heard about that before. Now remember that we're talking about holism. So it's just the same word as holy in the Bible. It means that we're talking about one, okay, not the sum of parts, but we're talking about one thing. Okay, we're not going to separate anything. We're not going to break anything down. We're going to keep it all one, flowing in one direction, all working uniformly together. And that is really healing. That is really what healing is all about, because I physically can't heal. So let me back this up. Healing is a permanent state. Let me get that correct first. Your healing is a permanent state. You're not healed if it's going to come back in 2 weeks. You're not healed if you eat the wrong things again, it'll come back. Now, here's the caveat, is that if you do go back out and do some of the wrong behaviors, then of course the results will come back. Okay, so when we say that you are healed, it is because you have renewed not only your physical state, but your mental state and your spiritual state. There's a quote in the Bible that said, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Okay, be ye transformed. So when we're talking about losing weight and when we're talking about being cured, we're actually talking about being transformed from one condition to the next. Okay, and when you have to do those transformations, or when you have to go from rich or poor, from sick to healthy, all right, from disease to healed, okay, when you have to go through these particular transformations, there has to be a renewing of your mental and emotional state. And what I said before is that has to come from something deep in the core of an individual, right? That has to come from something deep to the core of you. You have to believe in the transformation. You have to believe that you can go from not having any money right now, who've ever listened to this, to seeing riches and wealth in your life. You have to believe that. That has to come from the essence, from the bowels of your depthness. You have to believe in yourselves. This is the seeds of transformation. Because when you're able to believe in this coreness, the spiritual core of yourself, through prayer, meditation, through purpose, through travel, however you get that unction, right? To do something that you've never done before, to be something that you've never been before, to be the better you. You have to find that inspiration from somewhere through some means. And it doesn't mean that you got to believe in a God and believe in that. But what you do have to believe in is the very essence of yourself and your purpose here on earth. Okay? And it doesn't matter how old you are. Right now, at this same particular time, there's been an uptick on suicides, on murders, on anxiety and depression. And this is all within our youth as well. So it's just not about the 40% of adults who are struggling with mental health and substance abuse, but it also is tinkering on down into the young adults, into our teens, okay? Into our teens that are not really understanding, right? Because they still are looking for purpose. They still need to exercise the core. They still need to find the root essence of their existence. And when you're able to find that, that is the first seedlings of being able to then transform or renew your mind. So before you renew your mind, there has to be a renewal of the spiritual core of an individual. So even when you're talking about sickness, you've been going to the doctor. They've been telling you day in and day out there's no help. They've been giving you pills. You've gotten pills after pills after pills, but you are still in physical chaos. Your body is still in pain. You're still dealing with the same symptoms. You're pretty much having to take the pills just to make it through your day. Okay, so that means that you're relying on medicine. That means that you are utilizing medicine as food instead of utilizing food as medicine. And there's only really one thing that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to first renew your spiritual understanding that you don't have to remove an organ. You don't have to remove, your leg or your arm or your anything, but you may have to remove the foods that cause those things in the first place. You may have to remove the job that is causing this high blood pressure and high levels of stress in your body. You may have to remove the spouse that is causing you the mental strain and the mental cloudiness and the funk that you're in, right? You may have to remove the friends. You may have to move out of the neighborhood that's keeping you down, that's holding you down, that is not allowing you to renew this thing and to fortify its purpose. Okay? Because once this spiritual thing happens, there is a renewal in the mind now. And now what you start doing is pushing out good judgments. You start making those behavioral adjustments. Okay? And those things start to band well for your transformation here in the physical plane. Remember that here all we want people to see is the physical plane, but we don't understand that there is a process that's happening. When you get acne, that is a process, that is something happening internally that is having a physical result. Okay? You think about think about how the mind works that will allow a physical result to the body, right? Men, sometimes men, you can watch your ladies, right? The ladies could be walking around the house in a birthday suit and they haven't touched you, you haven't touched them, but all of a sudden, because you're watching, you're thinking about how lovely your woman is looking, you get a rise in your nature. Why? She didn't touch you. That's the power of the mental thought, that it could be something internal that has a physical result. So that's no different than someone turning you on. That's no different than pimples growing on your body. That's no different than dandruff on your head. There's no different than mucus in your eyes. There's no difference. These are all indicators of something happening internally. So we know then that this internal space is a very powerful thing to our physical manifestation. We know that. So why do we skip these steps and just fixate on the physical plane? Yes, you can change your diet and your exercise, but where did that come from? That come from here. And where did these come from? Here. You see what I'm saying? But how can you change your diet and exercise if you're not doing good judgments and behavioral adjustments, right? So there's a lot of people that take pills because they cannot make these good judgments or behavioral adjustments. They can't make the adjustment. They cannot not eat chicken. They cannot not eat this. They cannot not eat that. So therefore, I'm going to continue eating my favorite foods and continue to kill myself physically from the foods, but I will hide the symptoms of those issues with pills. And I rebuke those people that try to utilize herbs in the same fashion. I don't want you guys buying herbs just because you don't want to have this balance. Because I would be lying to you, sis or brother or young man or young woman, if I told you that these herbs will heal you here when you haven't changed anything here. And the medical facility, instead of lying to you, they automatically know that most people don't want to change anything about their lifestyles when they are sick and diseased. You can ask any doctor. They know that you guys mostly do not want to change. So therefore, we have come up with a pill that you can carry alongside your bad habits. And that pill is no different than the alcohol, and it's no different than the marijuana. These are all coping things so that you don't deal with your processes, so that we don't deal with our society, so we don't deal with our relationship issues, so that we don't deal with our financial issues and why we are not really successful. Is it because we're not putting out enough energy? Do we know enough about the profession that we're trying to go into? You know, you got to ask yourself, are you doing all that you can for your finances to work? Do you know all that you need to know for your finances to work? You got to ask yourself, are you doing all that you can do to eradicate disease and sickness in your body? Are you doing all that you can do to eat the right foods and maintain a healthy immune system? Are you doing everything that you can do to be in physical optimal health? Are you walking? Are you running? Are you meditating? Are you doing yoga, ligament stretches? Are you eating the right proportion of salads and fruits and water and grains? Are you doing these things? Ask yourself first before you start being mad at society, or being mad at your spouse, or being mad at the job market, or being mad at this or that. Ask yourself, are you at the optimal level that you need to be in to create the opportunity that you're looking for? So when you're looking for healing, then you have to know that healing has to be a three-way gateway door opening to not only the physical aspect, but also the mental and emotional aspect and the spiritual aspect. Okay? When you want to heal your finances, you're going to have to go through these same processes. When you want to heal your relationship, you also have to go through these same processes. when you want to heal yourself from a tragedy or a trauma that happened to you in your childhood, you're going to have to go through these processes. And I'm going to give you a caveat. And this is just me talking. There's not any facts behind this or anything. So, this is my opinion. My opinion is that when a man has a problem with a woman, most likely he has had a problem with a major woman figure in his life, in his childhood. And he needs to correct that problem with that major mother figure, whether it be his mother or someone else that was a mother figure to him, before he's able to patch up his male to female interaction. He needs to first go back to where it first all messed up in the first place. When a man has a problem with another male, it is because he is having issues or have had issues in relationship to a father figure in his childhood. And if he don't like his father, then he won't like any male moving up. He will always have contention with males, whether that father wasn't there or whether he was there but he was abusive in some kind of way. That will breed distrust with males. Same way with females. When females are dealing with females in a negative way, it is because maybe in childhood there was a negative trauma that happened between female to female in that person's life. So we have to go back and we got to understand, we got to go down to the core, and we have to renew this thing. We have to believe that we can achieve in the physical realm the thing that we want out of life. And once we do this, once we make this declaration in our spirit, once we activate this belief system, it will then in return start to push out good judgments and behavioral adjustments that will align itself up with your core intention. These two then will work together to push out a physical result of the work that's being done behind the scenes here. So when you're looking for physical healing, it first must start in the spiritual and mental realm. And when you're looking for financial healing, it must start in the spiritual and spiritual and mental realm. And when you're looking for change and transformation in any format, you need to first understand that these things have to be in perfect balance and alignment in order for the flower to come up out of the ground. This is your seed. This is your water. This is your flower. This is your seed. This is your water. This is your flower. So I hope you guys get that. I hope you guys understand that. I love you guys, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. And if your life is out of balance, go tell somebody to go tell somebody about this particular program. Till next time, love Herbman.
Yo, 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 good people. Welcome to the Herbman Show.